On the 4th of February at 3 a.m, Mist, my border collie, suffered an idiopathic vestibular attack, and this is a story about our journey to her recovery. So what is vestibular disease? Well, it's an unexpected and sudden attack on the balance system. This can be caused by inner ear infections, trauma or injury or other diseases, but quite commonly they don't know why it happens, hence the idiopathic terminology. And it is also commonly known as the old dog disease. So I want to start off this video by saying this is not going to give you any veterinary advice or recommendations. This is a video about how I personally dealt with the situation. I would recommend that you always consult with a vet to ensure the best outcome for your pet. I'm hopeful for someone who has never come across this before can even just pick up a few bits and pieces from my video to help them with their dog if this happens. Also, I am not looking for any hate or negative comments, they will just be deleted. I love my dogs and all my pets from the bottom of my heart, and the decisions I make for their care are mine to make. So a quick bit of background about my dogs. This is Mist. She is now a 13-year-old strong female purebred border collie. We got her when she was 9 weeks old from a breeder with working sheepdogs. When we got her, we already had an 8-year-old male border collie called Piper. Piper was with us up until just before his 16th birthday. He had also suffered with a vestibular attack, hence how I knew what was happening to Mist. At the time I bought him a sling to help him walk, something that was invaluable to Mist also, but I'll talk about that later. In general, for a 13-year-old, she's happy and bouncy and doing well. We also have a 8-year-old border collie called Logan, who was adopted as a 4-year-old from a rescue charity down in Berkshire. The event happened on the 4th of February about 1 a.m. I was aware of Mist coming to my side of the bed. That wasn't like her, and now in hindsight, of course, I know that she was coming round to ask for my help, and I said, go back to your bed, and she did, and it was all very quiet. Then about 2 hours later I woke up and she was panting. Now that is very unusual. So I turned the light on and looked at her, and she was very, very distressed. Although she was still lying in her basket, she was sitting in an upright position, she was rigid, and her whole head was rapidly going left to right, left to right, left to right, her whole head. So I knew what was wrong right away, and I went over to comfort her. My husband was working the following morning, so I told him what had happened. I said, stay in bed. I bundled Mist up and I took her down the stairs, got her in the living room and put her in her basket, and I just sat with her trying to get my head straight and comforting her, letting her know she'd be okay. For people that this may have happened to, and that's why you're here watching this video, it is really a scary experience. Your poor dog who you love is almost frantic. They can't stand, they're staggering about, their head is tilted to one side, their eyes will be flashing back and forth. They may have an incontinent moment, they may collapse, or they may even vomit, or all of the above. Just take a breath. They are not in any pain, nothing hurts. They are spinning with dizziness. At that point, they don't know whether they are upside down, if they're falling, or what the hell is going on. It's scary for them too, and that's where the most important part of the healing process starts, in my opinion. Just be there for them. You don't have to stroke them constantly, but just put a hand on their back. Let them know you're there. Let them hear your voice. Put a blanket round them. Make them feel secure and warm, and just be there for them. So once you've got your dog somewhere safe and secure, at this point I would advise you to call your vet and let them know what's happened, and they can advise you what to do next. Morning came and I'd moved her bed beside the sofa so I could be closer to her. She'd had a few hours of peaceful sleep, but even in her sleep her eyes were flicking back and forth under her eyelids. Because of the dizziness, it will make your dog feel sick, so they will be reluctant to eat and possibly drink. On the opposite hand, sometimes they can become confused and drink and drink and drink. At that point you need to say, that's enough for just now. The water will always be there obviously, but monitor the intake in case they are drinking too much. Mist went off her food and water completely. I would take the bowl to her and her head would turn away immediately, which made herself feel worse in the process because of the dizziness. So that was a really stressful and frustrating point. So I changed my strategy. I didn't bring her dinner through in her dog bowl, I brought it through in a plate. And a saucer, a soup bowl, and even the cat's dinner bowl. anything different or anything that's normally, no, don't touch that, that's not yours. This certainly improved the situation, but still it was a struggle to get her to eat anything. Boiled chicken worked for one meal and not the next, same as scrambled egg, rice, anything that she would normally consider a treat. So basically what I did was I made a concoction of chicken, egg, cat meat and some cheese and added about 30ml of water to every meal to get some fluids inside her. And I also put all the food in a food processor and whizzed it up so it was just a mush. When I did feed her, I used a spoon to bring the food closer to her mouth on the plate because they are feeling so dizzy, their coordination's all to whack. They can't aim for food properly, it's not easy, and any sudden movements make them feel dizzy, so make it easy for them. Rotate the plate round, put the food in front of them so they can reach it. Even if it means their neck is bent or they're sitting funny, it doesn't matter if it looks wrong. If it's comfortable for your dog, then that's what matters. Let them go on with it, just help them as much as you can. I would take her water bowl to her basket so many times, about 20 times a day, and offer water, and she very stubbornly turned her head away from me. So I would put my whole hand in the bowl and she would lick it off. When they won't drink, any way of getting water into them without stress is beneficial. I also used a teaspoon to spoon it into the side of her mouth, just enough for her to naturally swallow. That helped as well. Another hurdle to get over, and to get over pretty quick, is getting them out to the toilet. I still had the body sling from when Piper had his attack all those years ago, so that got dug out the cupboard and strapped onto her. It's a Pet Baba. You can still get them on Amazon and I like it a lot. It suits my needs. Before the Pet Baba came, for the first few days I used a towel around his tummy and abdomen to help get him outside, but it was clumsy and it was difficult trying to support him and direct at the same time, so when the Pet Baba arrived it was a complete game changer. As it was with Mist, it allowed me to get her out the front door so that when she squatted I was able to take the weight off her back legs so she didn't land in a heap. So to summarise the past 3 weeks, the first week is definitely going to be the most challenging for you and your dog, but it will get better. They won't be able to walk in a straight line. They're going to be bumping off furniture and doors. They will only be turning in one direction, and it can be impossible for them to try and get back to their basket if they're not facing the right way. They're going to be off their food for 3 to 4 days, but it should improve with encouragement and treats. Try to keep the calorie uptake if you can. The rapid eye movement should last 4 to 5 days and be away completely by the end of the first week. Stairs are an absolute no-no. They won't be able to get up themselves. Picking them up can be stressful. So I was in a position where I had a fold-up bed that I could bring to the living room, and I just slept in the living room for 3 weeks with her, just until she was strong enough to be helped up the stairs with the Pet Baba. The head tilt will still be there, they'll still be wobbly on their feet, but we began to take short, couple of minute long walks around the yard 3 times a day with the sling. On the second week, her appetite had increased, very much so. We were back on normal meals and they weren't mushed up, and that included having biscuits and our dentist stick after our dinner. And I was delighted one evening when she was just got up, she crossed the room, she went to the water bowl, had a big drink and then went back to her bed. I think I actually cried, I was so happy. She's returned to going to the door to ask to get out for the toilet again. She either scrapes or whines, so that's just fantastic. It's completely normal and just like her. The head tilt was improving. If she's focused on something, it gets better. You wouldn't even know. You know, if she sees a sheep 500 metres away, she's like focused on it. But if something stressful happens, like Logan's jumping about, playing a bit rough, she gets a bit stressed and her head starts to tilt a bit more. By the end of the second week, where we were going out without the Pet Baba on, she was excited about going on walks again and was able to support herself when she went to the toilet. She also worked out how to brace herself to counteract any stumbles and keep away from Logan, but sometimes accidents do happen. So the third week, she's sleeping all through the night again, which was brilliant. We're going 3 walks a day, about 5 minutes each time, and it did tire her out, there's no doubt about that. She was definitely tired out by the end of those 5 minutes. But when we were out, she found her toy. She was so happy, she looked like her old self trotting off with it, wanting to play. I've also got a couple of traffic cones in the sand school, and I thought I would try and get her to bend around them and engage her brain to see if we could get her going in the direction she didn't like to go, and it is definitely getting better. So she's doing good. She can run, not round corners yet, but she can run, she can dodge Logan. We still have some bumps along the way, but she's learning to splay her legs and keep her balance. Most importantly, she's independent again, and I'm not afraid to leave her on her own. No, come on. Come on. Good girl. Here are some key points that the vet won't suggest. It's probably common sense and maybe a bit silly, but I believe it helps. So the first thing is, don't let your dog see you're worried. Don't stare at them with a worried look. Have a happy voice. Smile at them. A dog will read your reactions, and if you're happy, so will they be. If they're shuffling about in their basket, get them up and turn them round so they can lie on the other side. Don't let them get stiff. It'll be difficult in the beginning to do this because of the dizziness, but it'll sort itself out and they will find a way to rest their head comfortably. You could try putting a pillow under their head or a rolled up blanket. No matter how many times they want out, you're going to have to go with them. I had 10 p.m, midnight, 3 a.m, 5:30 and 7 a.m. to deal with in the first week, but it settled down about the middle of the second week, and by the third week we were back into our normal routine. Your dog will only be able to turn one way. Whatever happens in their brain, I don't know. They can't go left and right. It's one or the other. So guide them slowly, eventually it'll come. Narrow doorways are a real challenge, so open up all the doors wide until they find their feet. Move furniture that could be knockable, footstools, etc. Make a clear path for your dog from the basket to the door to their water bowl. There'll be bumps and bangs along the way, but don't be dramatic when it happens. Obviously comfort them, but in a way that you would with a 5-year-old. Oopsie, silly Billy, come on, up you get, you're fine, come on. And eventually your dog won't care about the stumbles if you don't. It's just a case of, oh, that happened, okay, and on they go. They might not want to go into rooms that they did before, especially laminate floored rooms. Throw some old carpets down or rugs, and that'll encourage them to come in and they'll have good grip in case they have a wobble. So that's it. If you found this video because you were searching for some help, then I really hope that it's been of a benefit, and I really hope your dogs get better soon. There are probably several different things that I've forgotten about, but please read the description and I can add in anything over time as it comes to me. If it was helpful, please like the video. It would be very much appreciated and it would get it out there to other pet owners who are looking for the same information and help. Oh, and one more thing, Mist and Logan are both TikTok stars. I'll leave links in the descriptions for you to have a look and have a laugh. Thanks very much. Bye.
Yes, I'm in the zone. Dreaming about the things that we could be. So it's gonna be forever. You were ready to. That's a real me when I'm in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Oh, is it too late now?